do. Who's currently in Cyprus. And really, what can I say? Where do I begin today? Where? Norway's elections rigged by the World Economic Forum, as expected. Israel committing genocide. Zelensky, genocide against his own people. France's government's collapsed. The Swedish civil defence minister was hunted down in Stockholm last night when he left his work. He didn't have his personal bodyguard with him. He got hunted by free Palestine morons. Yes, and there were, with the video I've seen, there were Islamic. Oh, God, there's been 8 bombs, seven shootings in the past 7 days. And get this. This is the latest brainwave from the Swedish government. They're going to ban mobile telephones in all schools. The kids have to clock in the telephone and get it when they leave, and that includes breaks. What happens if there is another attack on a Swedish school? Who's going to report on it? Eh? The Islamisation of our government continues. Mahmoud Shabububu is the new minister. We've got 2 of the biggest towns and cities, the mayors, are Islamic nutters. The head of schools, the curriculum, everything to do with schools in Britain is an Islamic nutter. The Green Party, their deputy prime minister's deputy leader has been seen on TV shouting Allahu Akbar. Oh my goodness. The Zionists are taking over in Cyprus. The Turks have doubled the military presence on the border. Tourism in Spain's totally collapsing. Earthquakes in Greece, earthquakes in New Zealand. This is just some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, because everything that we see and is thrown down our faces on the radio and mainstream media is propaganda, innit? It really is. So let's start off on Dreamcatcher Radio. Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden. 2 hours of me gobbing off. Let's have some fun. Here's Propaganda and Jewel. Welcome.
Die.
I really hate songs that fade. If you're a songwriter and you want to do successful, don't have songs that fade out. They do my bouncing. We've got so much to get through this afternoon. We really do, and I'm in a right mood. My MS is flaring up, so it's chronic. I did a show last night. I overdid it. Part ego, part peer pressure, I suppose. People were loving it. Where I am performing at the moment in a place called Pataris is like the main drag, and there's 2 or 3 really big show bars, and I'm in one of them. And at the one when you're walking up towards me, they had like 4 different acts on, and then I was on alone because of sickness to other artists. And then at the bar at the other end of the strip, which is the main competitor as well, they had 6 acts on. And last night, for me, and obviously by the response from the punters, was my absolute best show I've done in maybe 10, 12 years. I just really kicked arse. I did a full, nearly 1.5 hours of Rod with all the big hits and some absolute pearls. And then I went off for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, changed my shit because I was sweating like a pig. Oh, did I offend anybody out there who don't like the word pig in the meat pig? Bacon, for example, pork chops. And I did a quick change and came back out and did my Rock of Ages show. And absolutely, if there'd been a roof on the building, it would have blown it off. But the problem is that the venue is doing extremely well. I'm enjoying it, even though I'm in a lot of pain. And I'm going to just give you a quick shout out to all other fellow MS sufferers, warriors, MS warriors. And a word up to anybody who's listening who might know somebody who's got MS. Back off. Because I can tell you now, we live in perpetual pain. And to function, even in the slightest way, is difficult. And to do it and look normal is nigh on impossible. We have skin thicker than rhinos. We've got hearts bigger than lions. And we just crack on and get on with it. So if somebody comes up to me and I say to you, I don't want to talk to you, I'm not being rude or ignorant, just back off, because I'm not in a mood to talk to anybody because of the pain I suffer on a continual daily basis. Right, that said, I've got to get on to this now. I don't care what happens. I don't care if I get arrested when I get back to the United Kingdom. But having a devout Muslim, a practicing Islamist, who supports Palestine and goes around chanting free, free Palestine as our Home Secretary in charge of the borders, in charge of security, in charge of the police, in charge of the prisons. I mean, in charge of pretty much everything. Cobra meetings, in charge of the MI5. You've got an Islamist openly states that her life is devout to the Quran, running the Home Office. Keir Starmer, my God, man, what is wrong with you? Putting the lives of every British citizen at risk. You've got the Mayor of London, who in my opinion is the worst mayor who's ever lived, is an horrible, despicable piece of crap, is destroying London. I couldn't believe London when I went there the last time. I did not recognise it. You've got the Mayor of Brighton, can't speak English. The Mayor of Nottingham, Bradford, Barnsley, can't speak English. You had Mamu Sabubu, whatever her name is. She gave an address in Pungchang. I think that's the language, that's their native tongue. She gave an address to the British people in bloody Pungtang. The head of the school services, the one who sets out the curriculum and makes sure that everything works as it should, guess what? Yes, another Islamist. How many more Islamists is it going to take until people wake up and realise that our British government isn't British anymore, it's a Pakistani outpost? A Pakistani outpost. That's what they're turning Britain into. It boils my blood. You're getting people arrested for saying the word Muppet. Someone said Muppet and got arrested. I personally believe the king is confused, and he is confusing the Christian population on purpose. Not my King Charles has converted to Islam. What are we going to do about this? Every time somebody hangs a flag up, you get a Muppet, puts a ladder up and cuts it down. You've even got the world-renowned Banksy. Yes, Banksy, you heard that right. He did a mural in central London depicting a British citizen laid down, holding up what looks like a cross, and you've got a judge raining down on him with an hammer. This is what Banksy is telling the world that Britain looks like. What are we going to do about it? We're just going to sit back and say, well, doesn't affect me. I'll be dead. What about our kids? What about our grandkids? What about their futures? I'll tell you now, I honestly don't care if when I cross over the border into the United Kingdom and they pull me. I do not care. They will make me have a bigger platform. This is what we all have to do. We all have to get out there and say exactly what we think, because I am not going to take this anymore. I'm sick and utterly tired of the way British people are being treated in Britain by our own government, by our own lying scumbag government, by our own deceitful MSM. They're our enemies. The government is our enemy. The media is our enemy. There's so few platforms like this where I'm broadcasting now, which actually allows a regular working class man the opportunity to say, no doubt, what millions of people are thinking, but then, because they'll get fired from the job, they won't get any gigs. They'll be chastised, they'll be sent to Coventry. Nobody wants to go to Coventry. It's a hole. No disrespect to the people living in Coventry, but it's an hole. They use that expression, sent to Coventry, for a reason. If you've been there, you know. I've been there several times. Oh, what are we going to do? The policies that they're passing. The laws are implementing. You've even got Donald Trump and Vance and now other leading politicians around the world speaking out about the travesty of justice which is happening to the United Kingdom. And then Queer Keir, he comes on TV with his little blistered lip, doesn't he, from sucking off all these Ukrainians and rimming Lord Ali, and he comes up and says, we have freedom of speech and we're very proud of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to have two special features now. Not just Bell End of the Week, I'm going to have Knob Head of the Week as well. Because I can't keep giving Bell End of the Week to Keir Starmer. It's a travesty of justice. Nobody voted for what Labour are doing to us. And then the Green Party. And people are saying the Green Party are irrelevant. They got 4 seats, just like Reform. And their deputy leader is a known Hamas supporter. It's their deputy leader. The leader is as woke as Jimmy Talbot wasn't, is the opposite. I mean, the leader, Zach, whatever his name is like wanting to reform everything, super woke. His deputy party leader is a known Islamist, supporter of Hamas. My God. Oh, I just don't know where our country's leading. Then everyone's saying Nigel Farage, a knight on shining armour and riding into town on his horse. Nigel Farage is a banker and a wanker. He doesn't care about us. He's just making money through reform. It's insane. It's insane. What's Nigel Farage going to do? Release the taxes on the very rich. Well, if the people with a lot of money pay less tax, we're all going to be better off. Oh, give over, Nigel. You're full of it as well. I really just don't get what's going on. We've got so much to get through, and I can't stay this angry. I'm going to have a chill pill, aren't I? I really am. So, when I come back, we're going to continue talking about what's happening to our wonderful country. I've got my featured music artist of the week, which is, as always, Steve the Entertainer, because I think he's brilliant. We're going to be talking about a tour I'm going to be doing with Pete Young, his life story about beating stage 4 mouth cancer. We're going to be talking about what's happening in Sweden, talking about what's happening in Germany, talking about the rape of males now. You know, in Sweden, they opened a hospital, Lily, they opened a hospital, specialist wing, for male rape victims in 2015. 2015 they started that. 2015, that's how long the rape of males has been going on by mainly immigrants, refugees, these poor little asylum seekers. And yesterday I saw online about a 60-year-old man in a church garden who was raped and bummed by a refugee who just arrived 3 days before in Britain. And everyone's going, oh my God, I've been talking about this for 10 years in Sweden. I've been warning people for 10 years. These animals coming over, they're not just intent on destroying our country. One of the biggest weapons anybody can use in a war is rape. And what's happening in all of our countries? Rape. It's a weapon of war. This is a fitting song. Welcome to Dreamcatcher Radio with me, the Englishman in Sweden, Michael Dean. Hello. Yeah. Oh, I love a bit of Metallica. What a band, eh? Lars, I actually met him 2 or 3 times. That's the drummer, the Danish guy. Always off his trolley. Always. But listen, before I get over to this hospital in Sweden for victims of male rape, I'm going to hopefully be interviewing a lady. Should have interviewed a couple of weeks back, but unfortunately she got sick and she went into hospital. And she has been effortless, continuously campaigning on behalf of RAF Scampton. Now you know where RAF Scampton is. It's the home of the famous bouncing bomb. You know, one of the reasons why we destroyed the Jerrys in World War II. I'm going to be interviewing her shortly. But on day 2 of Shabana Mahmood coming into office, she wants to take over RAF Scampton, you know, the home of the Red Arrows, and there's an old community built there. There's been 2 or 3 really good offers put in about regenerating it, museums and etc. etc. Labour promised they wouldn't touch it. And yet, within 2 days of Shabana Mahmood, a devout Muslim, coming into office, she wants to take over RAF Scampton for refugees. This is the community of housing, schools, shops, everything. She wants them all out. She wants them all out. Are we just going to stand by and watch this happen? It's beyond belief. It's beyond belief. And if I continue talking about it, I'll probably have a heart attack. So, Sarah is a lady, Sarah Carter. Sarah, if you're listening, let's get it sorted out. And I really want to do an in-depth interview with you next week about your home, about how you've been threatened, had your life threatened by far-right extremists. I don't understand why far-right would want to terrorise you, because you're standing up for the interests of the British people and British history. You know, the Dam Busters. This is the home of the Dam Busters. It's a whole community. And I'm going to call her MS because she's about as pleasant as multiple sclerosis is. Shabana Mahmood wants them all out. She wants to destroy the community after years and years of people like Sarah Carter tirelessly campaigning to keep some of our history. Obviously the first thing that will be gone will be the plaque to the dog because of its name, which I can't say on air because I don't want to get into trouble, but we all know what the squadron's dog's nickname was, don't we? We'll talk in depth. I'm going to make it happen this week, the interview with Sarah Carter. So Steve, the station owner, if you're listening, please set the wheels in motion, because now this is going to be a massive story and I want to get on it before all of the people who imitate my content, and there's loads of them out there now, they're starting to get on my nerves. They think they know what they're talking about and they ain't got a clue. But listen, right, we can come back to some of these subjects in a bit, but right now I want to highlight this hospital in Sweden which opened. It's a clinic, rape clinic for men, and it opened in 2015. And the numbers are staggering. I mean, male rape victims. In 2018, Swedish television did an investigative journalism show called Upgrade Granskning. Upgrade on what's happening, translation. They analysed a total of 843 district court cases from the 5 preceding years and found that 58% of all convicted of rape and attempted rape had a foreign background, right? 58%. This is going back to 2010, 2015. 40% of them were immigrants born in the Middle East, young men from Afghanistan. 55% were African or North African or South African. There you go. That's back then. Now let's move up to the latest figures that they've got are from 2023. 843 men were raped by migrants from the Middle East, North Africa, Afghanistan and Southern Africa. It's blatant. It's blatant where they're from. And this is men on men. And I think that this should be screamed from the rooftops. This is what happened, I do believe, yesterday in a church garden. A 6-year-old man just going around his business, bent over and bummed by an African immigrant who'd been in the country 2 days. Is it on the media? No. Why not? Is it not interesting for him to warn people in my age that, if I bend over in the wrong place, someone might try and rape me? I think it's important to know. I mean, I'm brought up a lot of the time in Sweden, and I saw the decline of Sweden due to the mass immigration. In 10 years, 1.1 million unvetted. It's a staggering amount of people. Staggering amount of people. It's 10% of the population of Sweden, when nobody's got a clue who they are. And just look at the figures. Just look at the violence. Just look at the consistency of bombings and shootings and rapings and violence. I'm going to get you another interesting article here now, right? Well, whilst we're on Sweden, I'll stick on Sweden. I'm not going to talk about Alexander Isaacson because I bet Liverpool thinking, my God, why have we spent 130, 140 million pounds on that plank? He was uninterested, and when he got interviewed on Swedish TV, he said, we've got to improve, but I'm concentrating on my league club. No, you're not. You're playing for your country, mate, even though it's not your country. I think he's Somalian background, great player, but a mercenary. But right, listen to this. There's been an explosion in adolescent crime, in juvenile crime. A 5-time doubling. So this is insane in Sweden, and it's coming to the United Kingdom as well, because you're letting in all these unaccompanied children, aren't you, who are about 30 years old. But listen to this, right? 2022, they call these places SIS, S-I-S. It's like a Borstal, but for really bad-ass people. Nearly half of the people being held in Borstal are there for murder, attempted murder, gross mishandle, attempted regular mishandle, assault and rape. That's 2022, right? And then move forward to 2024, and this is 2024. The 31st of July this year, 254 teenagers and younger are in the highest standard of criminal facility you can have for a minor. 149 the same time last year, and in 2022 that was 57 people. Now it's 254, and they are all in prison for murder. A kid of 14-year-old shot somebody. A kid of 13 blew up an house. A kid of 15 shot 2 people. Are you getting the picture? It's pure insanity. And you've got politicians. We have to help. We have to help all these poor little children. Sounds that way, doesn't it? This is a lady called Elizabeth Arborsen Hallmark. That's because she wanted to keep her own name and take a married name. She said the situation is out of control. We're up 40% year on year on murder and attempted murder, and we just can't cope with it anymore. Next summer, the criminal system, criminal vård in Swedish, is going to open its first total prison for youngsters, and it will hold, get this, 2,000 places. So they're not expecting the trouble to go down in Sweden, are they? They're expecting it to go up. It's pure and absolute insanity. And they call themselves refugees, asylum seekers. Oh, please take us in as helpers. And what are our governments doing? They're aiding and abetting the rape, amongst other things, of elderly men and young kids. I'm not even going to go down the road of the statistics for the female rapes because I just don't. 2 hours isn't long enough. I just know I was talking with somebody in Germany yesterday. They said a 17-year-old girl was savagely raped and then butchered. Didn't make the main German news. Holland, it's happening all the time. Belgium, it's happening all the time. Sweden, it's happening all the time. It's happening in the UK. And when kids come forward, look how they got trapped with the grooming gangs scandal. They weren't helped by the police. They were chastised by the police and in some cases arrested by our own police for reporting being raped and abused. It is, as I've just said, it is a tool of war rape. Oh my God, 3 or 4 years ago, about 3 years ago, I wrote a song called Footprints in the Sand of Time. And it was about what we're doing to our world. And some bright spark picked up on it and called me Greta's granddad. Now, I've heard through Swedish channels, and this is only speculation, and it's only my view, but I've heard that Greta Thunberg was on the boat that the Israelis bombed by drone that was taking the supplies, which she shouldn't have been doing anyway. It's a stupid thing to do. But I've heard through quite reliable sources that Greta Thunberg might have been on the boat that the Israelis attacked because somebody wanted to bring food to starving children and women in Gaza. We're going to talk about what's happening 18 minutes by fighter jet away from where I am at the moment. That's Israel, what they're doing to the whole region. We're going to talk about the very, very large prospect that Iran are going to attack Israel. We know, I reported this morning before any mainstream media on my Englishman in Sweden page on TikTok, before anybody, I reported that Yemen had attacked 2 Israeli civilian airports this morning. And it was nowhere to be found on the mainstream media. Nowhere. And then other, not influencers, I can't call myself an influencer, other content creators started picking up on it, including George Galloway. George, if you're listening, I was there before you, but I like you, George. You're doing some good reporting now. And they started picking up on it. And the thing is that when they cannot silence us, radio stations like Dreamcatcher Radio, freedom of speech, when they can't silence us, they can't continually censor all of us on all social media platforms. And unlike 10, 15, 20 years ago, before the invention of this incredible tool called the internet, they could censor and feed us what they wanted to, pure propaganda. Now, there's that many people who are awake and that many people who are sick and tired of what's happening to our societies. They can't silence us all. After we play this beautiful track, it's featuring a friend of mine called Maya, all about the money, Maya. We're going to talk about the very large possibility now of conflict right here in Cyprus, because Turkey have increased their military presence on the occupied side of the island monstrously. And I did speak about this about 3 weeks ago on this radio show, and I got chastised and I got shot down and I got shut up by loads of people. I got a knock on the door saying you want to be careful what you say about Cyprus. I'm pro-Republic Cyprus. Get that right. I think it's a beautiful place. I've got a nice home here. But you've got to wake up. We're going to talk about the numbers of how many Israeli settlers are here. Not just Israelis, but the Zionists. These people are fanatics. They're just as fanatical as Hamas and ISIS, only they've got 2 stupid sideboards dangling around in front of the face, look like they're playing chestnut coggies, don't they? Swinging around on their head. I'm soon back with you. We've got loads to talk about. We've got loads to get through. But I was going to play my song, but I'm not going to be egotistical. I'm going to play Ricky Martin featuring Maya who's I saw on TV just the other day, and they've put a tribute together to The Who with some great musicians. Mayer's a great artist. She's a wonderful woman. I've had nice dinners with her. She's just a great person, and she's a great vocalist. This is Ricky Martin featuring Mayer, Private Emotions. You're listening to Dreamcatcher Radio with Mr. Marmite, Michael Dean. Good afternoon.
Every endless night has a dawning day. Every darkest sky has a shining ray, and it shines on you. Baby, can't you see? You're the only one who can shine for me. It's a private emotion that fills you tonight, and the silence falls between us as the shadows steal the light. And wherever you may find it, wherever it may lead, let your private emotion come to me. Come to me. When your soul is tired and your heart is weak, do you think of love as a one-way street? Well, it runs both ways. Open up your eyes. Can't you see me here? How can you deny? Oh, it's a private emotion that fills you tonight, and the silence falls between us as the shadows steal the light. And wherever you may find it, wherever it may lead, let your private emotion come to me. Every endless night has a dawning day. Every darkest sky has a shining ray. It takes a lot to laugh as your tears go by, but you can find me here till your tears run dry. It's a private emotion that fills you tonight, and the silence falls between us as the shadows steal the light. And wherever you may find it, wherever it may lead, let your private emotion come to me. Let your private emotion come to me.
What a brilliant track.
Let your private
World Latin superstar Ricky Martin with a friend of mine, Mayer, from Stockholm. I hope you're listening, Mayer. Great to see you back. You're a brilliant artist. It's a great song, huh? It's a really good song, that one. Well, before I get back onto this, what's happening here now in Israel, and it's all going to kick off, believe me. I've booked flights for me and Lily for mid-October. I'll move them if it don't kick off, but I'm not taking any risks. That said, if they give me a gun, I'll stand and fight with the Greek Cypriots with pleasure. But, you know, there was the VMA Awards, is it, yesterday? And everybody's going, and the reason this triggered me is that Ricky Martin was on it, looking and sounding fantastic at 50 or whatever he is now. Well, he sounded great, looked great. Everybody fancied him and George Michael, didn't they? And then they found out they were sherbet packers. But there you go, each to their own. But Steven Tyler and Youngblood, right? They paid homage to Ozzy Osbourne, and Randy Grandy, that Stick Skellington, whatever happened to her? Miley Cyrus, what happened to her? The Rock, what happened to him? What's happening to all these people? They're all turning into some sort of spinky freaks. But everybody's ranting and raving about Youngblood and Steven Tyler's homage to the late, great Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne. I thought it was awful. One old geriatric screaming, and a young guy who's taken the rock world by storm. How? I have no idea how Youngblood is that popular. All he does is scream and flashes very impressive six-pack, I've got to say. Fair play to you, mate, for keeping in such good nick. And this clip I saw, he's got a tramp tat on his back, and it says weep. Why would you have that above your arse? Just wondering. But I really don't get how the whole celebrity world is going bonkers about this performance that Steven Tyler and Youngblood did. Drop me a line, Mr. Marmite at dreamcatcherradio.com or hello@dreamcatcherradio.com, and tell me what you think about it. Being basically a rock singer for the last 40 years, I weren't impressed at all, but there you go. Maybe I'm out of touch. And before we go on to what's happening here, I'm just curious as to why there's such silence about the AFD members in Germany who were highlighting a new genetic disease brought in by migrants into Germany. That's 23 chromosomes from a German girl, 23 from a migrant. I'm just wondering why they're not discussing the 12 people who died, suspiciously, all from the AFD. And there was a 17-year-old girl, as I said, who was raped and butchered, and another 16-year-old girl who got raped, and she's pregnant, and apparently she's got an STD which is incurable, and the child will be born with that same STD. These are all things for the thick. That's a sexually transmitted disease, and at my age, in my condition, I don't have to worry about anything like that ever again. But let's get on to this very serious matter of what's happening here. We'll start right here in Cyprus, because I've got my feet on the ground. Talked to a lot of people. One of my neighbours works for migration. Another neighbour is high up in the Cypriot military. And say around 3 weeks ago, I talked about this, that during the 12-day war, 80,000 Zionists moved to Cyprus and started buying up infrastructure and strategically placed land and properties. Well, that number is now 110,000 Israelis who have moved to Cyprus. That's approximately 10% of the population, and that is since July. Just since July. So you've got the ones who were here before who own property because it's a beautiful island. They nip over here like we nip over to Mallorca from England or Sweden. And prior to the 12-day war, there's an estimated 45,000 Israelis who own properties, lived here permanently or temporary. And since the 12-day war, that's 110,000 more that have come in. That's 150,000. That's over 10% of the Cypriot population in the Republic. Now, a lot of them are Zionists, and I don't want to sound... I know I always come across as maybe being anti-Islam, Islamophobic, or... I'm not. I'm just wide awake, and I'm extremely worried about what's happening. But the Zionists, believe me, I know better. I see them walking up and down the strip, spitting, throwing the rubbish. They just have the way they talk to the waitresses and waiters is appalling. The way they drive, they just bustle down the street. Now they're not going to a place called Limassol because that is Russian. Russia did the same to Limassol as what the Zionists are now trying to do in areas around here, Nicosia, Pataras, Ayia Napa. They're buying up all the land from here up until the military bases. They're buying up everything they can, and the Cypriot government's doing nothing about it. And so, as a show of strength, Turkey has more than doubled their military presence in the Turkish side, the occupied side of Cyprus. And I really don't believe that's to invade the Republic, because if they do, then it's going to... I mean, Cyprus is NATO, basically. We're coming into the Schengen in March. That's for another broadcast, another story. It means anybody working in one of the 29 member states of the Schengen has got freedom of movement. That's somebody like me. See, I can just travel around the Schengen, no need for a passport. You've got to carry it for the airlines, but you understand where I'm getting from. And Cyprus isn't in it, but it soon will be. So I do think if Turkey were to invade the Republic, there'd be all hell to pay, because there's NATO bases, well, British bases, but they're NATO. I've been in one of them, loads of Yanks. And it's quite disturbing times, because, I'm going to say, Yemen attacked 2 civilian airports in Israel, and they hit them. They got through all of the Israeli anti-air missile defences and all the American. So that tells you, that's a bit worrying, isn't it, that they can get straight through them. And how do they get the money in? How do they get the money in to buy all this property in Cyprus? Because when I travel, I always get pulled, probably because I look like a rock star. But I always get pulled, and they check how much cash I've got on me, because anywhere within Europe, crossing borders, you can't have more than €1,000 if you're a regular person. With written permission, you can have 10,000, but you have to get written permission before you travel. Now, these Israelis or Zionists are coming over to Cyprus, and they're buying land and property in cash. So quite obviously there's backhanders going on left, right and centre. And I just want to know if anybody from the Cypriot government are listening. Can you tell me what you're going to do about stopping this influx? Because what the Israelis are doing to Cyprus is what the French have been doing to Britain over the Channel. It's exactly the same thing. I see helicopters going up daily, border patrols going up daily from Syria, because Syria is just over the water as well. And I'm quite suspecting now that a lot of the people who are coming over here are wealthy from Israel with bags of cash, and they're buying the property. And yet, if I try to buy property, it's a nightmare here. And whilst we're just talking about simple things like rules and how long you're allowed to have and how much money you can take with you and over borders, do all of you in Britain understand a very interesting fact here, right? We have the 90-day rule. If you have a British passport and you don't have a residency in the country where you're going, you have a 90-day rule throughout the whole of Europe, right? We can stay 90 days in any 180-day period, then you have to stay away for 90 days, and you can come back again for another 90 days. So, Boris Johnson, this was your doing, because Theresa May had already made a deal with the EU to keep freedom of movement, but you scrapped it straight away, ripped it up, so we got 2 fingers from Europe, and look at the state of the country now. It's one of the reasons why. But we can stay 90 days in a 180-day period. Guess what? Europeans coming to Britain can stay for 180 days at a time. Hey, so they can come over and do seasonal work in Britain, but we can't go into Europe and do seasonal work there, i.e. at the hotels, singing, dancing, working in the receptions. We can do 90 days from a 180-day season. Is there any wonder they're not employing the British anymore? Even though we have the highest, still have the highest level of service, above and beyond anybody else I've seen. They're taking Bulgarians and Romanians who are doing the job, who have no humour, no disrespect to the Romanians, I know, but they're totally different to us. And they're getting the jobs because they can do the 180-day period in the United Kingdom, and they can do it for as long as they want in Europe. And little old Britain, we're just sat there with our private parts in our hands saying, what the hell went wrong? We're going to talk about the attack We're going to talk about the possibility of a full-scale regional war when I come back after a bit of Def Leppard. This is Armageddon. Quite a fitting tune, isn't it? You listen to Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden, Mr. Marmite, on Dreamcatcher Radio. I hope you're all feeling dandy and good. And to my kids in Filey, enjoy your fish and chips and watch out for the Lena Shuffle. Hey!
Nothing
Oh, this is a fade out as well. Joe, what you doing? Love Def Leppard. I sometimes do that track in my Rock of Ages show. Love a bit of Def Leppard. And my poor dog Lily. Over here in Cyprus, apart from loads of Zionists and now Africans and from Napoleons and God knows what, there's a big increase in those. They've got a lot of cats, a lot of feral cats. And about a month ago, there were two of them hanging around my garden, and one of them actually jumped on the back of my dog and went for her eyes. And the other one came at her, and unfortunately she unlived. The one in front of her, in about all 7 lives, disappeared in a second. But she's had a lot of issues with a bacteria that got into her skin. I went to one vet and he gave me some antibiotics for her, and it sort of cleared up, and then he said that it were an autoimmune disorder, so I went to a different vet, a brilliant one in Paralimi, and now she's well and truly on the mend, but her face is itching, and she gets she comes to me normally when I'm doing things like this broadcasting. Well, that's by the by. But now look, let's talk about this. The Yemeni attacked and successfully hit 2 civilian airports in Israel, avoiding all of the air defence units that the Americans and Israelis had. And obviously the Brits had no idea, because I can tell you now for a fact, most of the sorties which were carried out in the bombings of Gaza launched from Cyprus. So that makes Cyprus, I suppose, a legitimate target for the Hamas, whatever they're called. And well, all these freak out groups, there's just too many of them, isn't there? But there is growing concern that Iran is stockpiling and Israel is stockpiling, ready to go for round 3 of Israel and Iran. And Yemen has attacked Israel successfully. When they, remember this year when they did the first attack, and they sent a load of like really old missiles at Israel, and Israel were bloating, we shot them all down, only one got through. What the Iranians and their proxies were doing were mapping out the actual Israeli air defence system, and they found a way through it, haven't they? So it's rather worrying times, and there's quite a possibility that it's going to kick off again. And well, we'll just have to hope it doesn't, and when it does, take it from there. What are we going to do? Hey, it's just war everywhere, isn't it? Zelensky's at a meeting today with his begging cap out, and all the countries are giving him millions and billions, and this endless, pointless meat grinder war. And they all just jet off, don't they? They all get together and cuddle up and snuggle up to each other, have lobster, and laugh at all of us idiots, because that's what they think we are. They all think we're idiots, don't they? And Lily, and just one other point, somebody sent me a video this morning of actual stormtroopers in London. What the hell are stormtroopers doing in the UK? Why? Is it in preparation for the Freedom March, what Tommy Robinson's organised? Are they seriously expecting mass civil unrest? You're not going to do an exercise. You're not filming London Has Fallen, are you? What's his name? That actor, Irish fella. What are stormtroopers doing in London? My own personal opinion is that they're preparing for conflict with the good old pink t-shirt wearing ladies who are worried about their children, with a lot of older men like myself who are worried about the future of the country and their children's futures because of this continual mass immigration all across our continent. I'd like to know what they're doing there. I really would. Now, before I play my next song, we're going to do my bell end of the week, and there's plenty to choose from. There really is plenty to choose from. But when I heard this statement from our now Deputy Prime Minister and Head of Justice Department, the one, the only, stumbling buffoon, David Lammy, I could not believe what I was hearing when David Lammy proudly announced that Winston Churchill took over the government, became Prime Minister days, get this, this is our Deputy Prime Minister and head of the Justice Department. Winston Churchill became Prime Minister days before World War II started. Oh, God give me strength. Mr. Lammy, if you're listening, Churchill took over 8 months into the war. Maybe you should read a few books or get it on a book, the listening book where you can slow it down to your pace. Winston Churchill became Prime Minister 8 months into World War II, you bellend. I'm going to talk about a mate of mine, Pete Young, who was diagnosed with stage 4 mouth cancer. Never thought he'd talk again, didn't know if he'd live. He's back out on the circuit, one of the premier Meatloaf impersonators. And I'm going to talk about his story. And I'm going to play his song called 20th of January, which is his homage to Meatloaf and the fact that it was actually Meatloaf who saved Pete's life. But we're going to start off with this one. This is me and Peter doing Rock and Roll Mercenaries, which is John Parr and Meatloaf. And we're back out on tour, starting in the UK in March. Can't wait, Pete.
Money is power, power is fame. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries, soldier fortune by some other name. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries. Money is power, power is fame. To hear, just listen. Everything to catch your ear, just listen. Whatever it takes, they're ready to sell. Anything and everything, they do it themselves. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries, soldier of fortune by some other name. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries. Money is power, power is fame. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries, soldiers of fortune by some other name. I'm talking about the rock and roll mercenaries. Money is power, and power is fame. It starts with a game, so see how they play. So all of the laughter is faded away. Ooh, it's not for the song, it's not for the love, it's just for the gold, and there's never enough, never enough. Talking about rock and roll mercenaries, soldiers of fortune by some other name. I'm talking about rock and roll mercenaries. Money is power, power is fame. It's not for the song, it's not for the love, it's just for the gold, and there's never enough. Talking about the rock and roll mercenaries, soldiers of fortune by some other name. I'm talking about the rock and roll mercenaries. Money is power, and power is fame.
Oh, that's myself and Peter Young, aka Rod Stewart and Meatloaf. Meatloaf and John Parr song. And John Parr lives in Retford, just down the road from my brother, actually. Interesting fact. I won't give you his address, people might go and knock on his door. But me and Peter were out on tour again, UK, Sweden, Ireland, next March. So there you go. Now, Peter, right, very good friend of mine, known him many years, great singer, great guy. He's had his tear-ups in life, he's had his ups and downs, but I don't think anything prepared him for cancer. Stage 4 mouth cancer. We were talking when we were on tour, and he was on about my implants, my teeth, and I said I got them done in Sweden, they cost 15 grand, just a top rack, and he was like, ooh. I said, I'm going to do some shows in Cyprus. This is before I've been in Cyprus, and I'll go and see what the prices are there and have a chat with a dentist. So he did that, and they said that they recommended he went and saw a doctor in the UK as soon as possible because he got a purple patch in the top of his mouth. Turned out to be stage 4 mouth cancer. And, well, I mean, it's going to be a shock no matter what happens. There's a big write-up, a lot of papers cover this story about Pete, and, you know, he went through it. His lovely wife stood by his side, his family rallied round him. The surgeon, one of the surgeons said he doubted he'd ever sing again, which he does. Said he'd have problems to talk, which obviously he can. And Pete's a brilliant Meatloaf impersonator and is out and about doing his Back From Hell tour. He's got a brilliant band behind him. He's just a great guy. He stood with me through thick and thin, and I'll stand with him. He's a mate, I'm very proud of him, and we'll be doing our 3rd tour, 2026. So if you're interested, contact me here on Dreamcatcher Radio, Mr. Marmite at dreamcatcherradio.com, or you can get hold of me directly through rodstewartshows.com. And we're going to be going out and doing the good old Rod and Rock and Meatloaf. But the thing is, Pete... listen to the lyrics of this song. It's called The 20th of January, and it is actually self-explanatory about how Meatloaf actually saved Pete Young's life. If you're listening, Pete, see you soon, mate. And Steve the Entertainer will get round to you in a minute, buddy. We've got loads to get through. This is Peter Young, the 20th of January. It's available on Spotify and all other outlets. Do yourself a favour and get it. Listen to the words.
It was January 20th. I was woken by my wife. Little did I realize that day you saved my life. The music world was saddened. Your followers bereft. You were a rock phenomenon, but what a legacy you left. You loved to sing those diamond tracks, although you struggle with your health. For crying out loud, heaven can wait. I couldn't have said it better myself. You were all ripped up with passion on board the Neverland Express. Although you may have left us now, we all still love you nonetheless. The kind words that were spoken of your life through others' eyes were words of sympathy and sadness at the news of your demise. But me, I owe my life to you, and though I'm sad you passed and left, your exit from the stage stage of life saved me from a certain death. And though I'm not religious, I believe fate chose you to leave so that I could go on living life and my family needn't grieve. It was January 20th, I was woken by my wife. Little did I realize that day you saved my life.
That's Peter Young, 20th of January, his homage to Meatloaf. Follow him on social media, have a look at him. In Russia, sorry Pete.
Cause the music's timeless, you can tell. Paradise by the Deadwood light, 2 out of 3 and out of hell. Oh, I can hear cause commotion up in the world, they claims above. You performing to the angels, I would do anything for love. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Peter Young, 20th of January. What a great track, Pete. Inspirational. So I've known Pete many years, and we are touring again. So if you're interested, get hold of Pete Young on all his social medias, or get hold of me. I've just had a message from a mate who's just been out here. Lee, how you doing, brother? Back home after 2 weeks of smashing the venues up and down Cyprus. Always a pleasure to see you. That's a great Elvis impersonator called Lee Grinley. You can catch him on all of his social medias. I'll just come on one of my social media sites and you can hook up with him. Great Elvis. Pleasure seeing you again, mate. Miss you already. And thanks for the beer. Thanks for the coke. Thanks for the ham. Woohoo! Left me a goodie bag, didn't you? But while we're playing Pete, I'm getting bombarded with like feeds and everything. Going back to this Palestine genocide, wherever it is. The war with Iran and Israel, which is coming up again, the Yemeni attacking Israel attacking everybody, and America just not knowing what they're doing, and Zelensky refusing peace, and I just say hurrah. But protesters now in support of Palestine are a lot older, aren't they? They're over 60s. I'm not in support of Palestine, and I'm not in support of Israel. I think that anybody who wants to protest loudly and aggressively should be put on a plane and going to the front lines of where all the fights are. If you support Russia, or you support Ukraine, or if you support Palestine, or if you support Israel, if you're that vocal about it, do something about it, go down and get on the front line. Don't bring everyday Brits and Swedes and Germans' lives into misery. But the protesters are a lot older. I've seen here there was a 90-year-old veteran who got arrested for having a sign saying "Stop the genocide." They had to lift him out of his bloody wheelchair. Hey, a 77-year-old woman lifted her out of a chair to be arrested. A blind guy got arrested. That's just to name a few. What the hell's going on? I find it interesting, though. It's no longer just the young people; it's older generations who are all getting into it. And how they get the police to arrest these people is just like, it's beyond me. I just don't get it. I've been in Sweden 40 years, and what's happened in Sweden that can categorically be put down. How the people are following blindly to what's happening, to the Stockholm Syndrome. And I think this is what the police in Britain and Germany are doing now. How can you arrest a 90-year-old man and pull him out of his wheelchair for simply stating, "Stop the genocide"? I find it embarrassing. I have people contact me from all around the world, saying what the hell is happening in Sweden and what the hell is happening in the United Kingdom. We've got freedom of speech, haven't we? A 90-year-old man pulled out of his wheelchair for simply having a sign saying "Stop the genocide." Over 400 people arrested for flying the Union flag and the George's Cross in England their own country. It's gone viral. I've just had 2 messages now from people in America asking me if I'd go to the border of North and South Cyprus to get some pictures. I'm like, no, I won't. But I've got mates who'll go over there, and they said that they're quite happily take photographs of all the military hardware on that side of the border. But I'm not bothered about doing it. I'm here. I don't want to get I don't want to get banged up for telling you what's going on. But I can't get over it. They're arresting 90-year-old men and 77-year-old women, blind women, for having an opinion about something happening in another country. You know, some of these old age pensioners, they've never had a criminal record in their life, and now they'll potentially have a criminal record under 2-tier Keir's systematic destruction of freedom of speech. I mean, some of them might not have long left, so they're going to die in shame for having an opinion that a closet sausage jockey don't like. I mean, I don't like pretty much everything that Keir Starmer says. I think Keir Starmer is a modern day version of Pinocchio, is a menace to the country along with all of his cabinet. I mean, it's just absolutely insane. I mean, my mum's in her 80s and she's proud British, proud English. Anybody said a bad word against David Beckham, she'd fly off the broom. She loved David Beckham. Oh, my David. She just loved him. Well, my David, my mum's a northerner. And, I mean, she's totally against what's happening. She can't go out now in the evenings in a little town called Doncaster. She can't even, go shopping for fear of being mugged. How has this been allowed to happen? It's pure insanity what they are doing to our countries, and for what goal, what's the end game. This is just my personal belief, is the flooding the whole continent. The majority of these people who are coming into our countries are soldiers, UN soldiers, and they are gearing up for civil wars across the whole continent of Europe, because Europe is going bankrupt. And then they're going to introduce the digital ID and total and utter control. The one mistake that the governments have made is thinking that they can control Neanderthals, and anybody who is devout, and I mean devout, I'm not just talking about your regular Muslim here, but they'll be attacked as well. Your radical Islamists are morons. They are Neanderthals who live 600 years behind us. So I really don't understand how our leaders think that they can control these people, because I don't believe they can. You give them a bit of power and look what they do. Look what they've done to London. Just look what Saeed Khan's done to London. He's absolutely and utterly destroyed it. I mean, I do not recognise my own country. I don't recognise Sweden. I class myself as Swinglish. I spent my junior years in the UK and the majority of my adult life in Sweden. Funnily enough, I was just talking to a friend in Spain, on the mainland Spain, and he's just bought a penthouse, he's having it renovated, and a neighbour didn't like it. So the police came, listen to this, the Spanish police came, and they've demanded that they see his residency, his padrone, his passport. They demanded that they see all the paperwork for the builder to make sure he's paying his taxes before they can continue with the renovation. And the builders had to get a license, which he should have in a few days, and it's cost him €140. The rules, restrictions on everything are ludicrous in every country now. We all have to wake up, open our eyes and say enough is enough. But right, I'm going to play a beautiful song now. My mate, again in Spain, Steve the Entertainer, he sent me some of his new material, but asked me not to play it yet. And he's doing it all looping so we can do it live. But for me, and from his last album, my absolute favourite song is a song called Till I Saw You. He's on all the social media sites, Steve the Entertainer. Follow him, Well, wrong song. Sorry, Steve. This is what I want. This is Till I Saw You. Steve the Entertainer. On Dreamcatcher Radio. The Englishman in Sweden, Michael Dean. Good afternoon. Take it away, Steve.
I saw your face from across the room. I seen a smile, made my heart boom. I tried to look so you didn't see. You turned around, looked right at me. I turned away 'cause I was shy. I know it's stupid and I don't know why. Inside my mind I was shouting you're here, hoping that you would come so near. I was hoping your heart would see when you looked right at me. I was hoping you would come running straight to me. I was lonely till I saw you, but I was happy and I knew what to do. Then you came and confused my mind, making my visions blind. Oh, take my hand, let me show you the way. 'Cause I'm gonna love you forever and a day. You think I'm crazy and my words are mad, but these are the greatest feelings I've ever had. And I really want you to see I am for real, it's not game to me. I wish I could make you see the man inside of me. I want you in my arms and in my space. I wanna see your smiling face. I was hoping your heart would see when you looked right at me. I was hoping you would come running straight to me. I was lonely till I saw you, but I was happy and I knew what to do. Then you came and confused my mind, making my visions blind. Oh, take my hand, let me show you the way. 'Cause I'm gonna love you forever and a day. Now you're at home and I am here. The separation is quite clear, but there is no way I can't stop this now until I have you. I was lonely till I saw you, but I was happy and I knew what to do. Then you came and confused my mind, making my visions blind. Oh, take my hand, let me show you the way. 'Cause I'm gonna love you forever and a day. So listen, 'cause my words are true. There's been no one else like you. I don't care if you don't feel the same, because I'm sure you will when you're in my arms again. Ooh, take my hand, let me show you the way. 'Cause I'm gonna love you forever and a day.
How good is that? Seriously, how good is Steve the Entertainer. Now listen, you might want to set your alarm clocks for this, because next week I'm going to be exclusively dropping on air around the world Steve the Entertainer, 2 of his new tracks from his upcoming album, and one of them is called Hurt, and it is mind-blowing. He sent me the files, but I'm not technical enough to be able to do my music, talk and operate everything in the 32 minutes I've got left of this week's show. I'm going to have world exclusive Steve the Entertainer, 2 of his tracks. Please, these artists like Steve, myself, Pete, Lee Grinley, we're all continually on the road, we're all continually grinding, we're continually pushing our own limitations. I've not been inspired to write music recently, because of my health. I'm just quite happy to be able to get up every day, morning glory. When that happens, I'm like, I don't want to waste it, so I run around Cyprus looking for somebody. I don't. I'm just joking. But, none of us take anything for granted. We've all been on the circuit for years and years. We're all grinding away, and I know Steve had personal problems. Same as me. Unexpected marriage breakdowns, separation from children. It's very hard, people don't see it. Pete's stage 4 mouth cancer, me, MS, and we just battle on. And, spare a thought the next time you go to a pub or a club, or you go to a festival and you've got an impersonator or an original artist on stage, cut them some slack and try being engaged. Don't turn your back and get your phones out. Try and listen to the message that we artists are pushing over to you. I mean, at the end of the day, we're on stage because you like what we're doing. It would be nice if you showed it like you used to pre-COVID. Well, there you go. So next week, an exclusive. 2 exclusive tracks from Steve the Entertainer right here on The Englishman in Sweden. And we are going out around the world. I know we have listeners in Russia and the United States and UK and Sweden. I'm also really delighted to add that my daughter Zoe, she's going to become part of the Dreamcatcher Radio team. Here in Alan, they're going to have Zoe, the Pulse of Sweden. She's going to be doing a weekly show starting at the end of this month, which is like, she was here, and the interview I made with her and Alan was so well received that Bradders and Steve thought it were a great idea to give her a shot as well. She's currently in Filey, eating fish and chips with her sister, her granny and her cousins and her uncle and auntie. Filey. I spoke to Liv this morning, where are you? I've got no idea. I said, well, drop a pin on maps and I can see where you are. And I was like, Filey. I'm 63. Last time I went there, I think I was about 16. So, it's the circle of life, innit? The wonderful circle of life. And also next week, we're arranging for me to interview Sarah Carter. This is going to be RAF Scampton and the refugees and what they want to do to them now. Labour, lying scumbags. They're just lying scumbags. And of course, Mahmoud, Shabana Mahmood, she doesn't give a monkey's chuff about anything British, does she? Heritage. And I mean, I spoke to Sarah, and unfortunately she had a medical emergency, so we had to scrap the interview a couple of weeks back. But now we're out on it, so I'm going to arrange that, and it'll be 2-track drop from Steve the Entertainer, and I think you'll agree with me, the guy's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. He's one of the best live I've seen as well. I mean, I used to go on stage after him and say, oh, thanks, Steve. How am I supposed to follow that? And he just used to laugh. And an interview with Sarah, which is going to be fascinating, about RAF Scampton and how they just want to displace a whole community. I think it's shocking. But listen, right, the Ring of Fire, I was talking to friends last night or this morning, whichever side of the world you're on, and they've had a sequence of earthquakes now in New Zealand, in the Ring of Fire. They're going off everywhere, aren't they? Volcanoes are starting. And Greece had a massive earthquake this morning, 5.5 on the Richter scale. Everything was shaking. And I've done a lot of music. I'm quite proud of the music I've done, but me being me, I always seem to donate the royalties to different charities. And I'm going to play a song that I did with a Fafini. Right now, a Fafini is Samoan transvestite. And quite often, if families have got a lot of children, like they've got, say, for example, 7 boys, and the family next door have got 7 girls, they swap a child. And they change the sex of the child. And there's a brilliant, hilarious Tina Turner impersonator over in New Zealand called Cindy of Samoa. Just class act. And then the best Joe Cocker impersonator I've ever come across, Colin. And they had the earthquake in Christchurch, if you remember. And I was on New Zealand TV. And as with the song for the cricket, I did a song for the cricket, actually, for the World Cup, and it was inspired by the Christchurch, how the community in New Zealand pulled together, and I put all of the royalties to the Christchurch Disaster Fund, which then in turn got me on New Zealand national television, on the radio, and it brought my profile up extremely high up there. And it's a song called The Kiwi Way. It's on Spotify and Apple and everywhere. You might want to go and check it out. You might not. I'm going to play it. You know, this is my 2 hours, and I'm going to do a bit of self-promotion for a change. This is me, Rud Stewart, Michael Dean, featuring Colin and Cindy, a song called The Kiwi Way. Hope you enjoy it. You listen to Dreamcatcher Radio. Listen to the words. And Cindy of Samoa.
No quick can ever stop us. The black caps were rockers. New Zealand, the Kiwi way.
New Zealand, New Zealand, the Kiwi way.
That is myself, Colin Jones. Oops, sorry Maya, that one yet, play next. It's myself, Colin Jones and Cindy of Samoa. And that came around when I was on the Rock FM, very popular radio show in New Zealand. And we're slagging off the song that they had for the cricket from the 96 World Cup cricket. And Bryce on the radio station challenged me to write a song. I said, I'll do that. If you play it, I'll write it. Me, Stuart and Grant, Stuart Pearce, MD from the band they had down there, and Grant, just a fantastic guy and brilliant guitar player. Stuart took a big theatre, went into the studio, set all his gear up, and I literally wrote the lyrics on the spot, basically. It took me about 3 or 4 hours to write the lyrics, and a very inspiring country. And the biggest regret of my life was not moving to New Zealand when I had the opportunity. But the power of love and all that, you know, and muggins here, thinking you're going to be together with somebody you love forever. And unfortunately it doesn't happen very often, does it, that? So here I am, broadcasting across the world on Dreamcatcher Radio, with my dog who's healing nicely, talking to friends I've worked with in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, America, Spain, telling you what's happening in Sweden and the UK, because the suppression on freedom of speech is, well, we can all see it now, can't we? It's like mental. And just playing your tracks, which I hope you'll find interesting and enjoyable. And I'm just enjoying life. I am actually enjoying life, even though I'm an MS warrior and I'm chronic today. I've got fatigue and everything, so I'm surprised I can even get through this broadcast. I'm starting to slur my words a bit, which I've said before. I'm extremely worried about losing the capability to sing or my mobility, but I'll just keep going for as long as I do. But you know, tonight, while we're on a bit of self-promotion, tonight I'm performing with one of the best Cher impersonators I've ever met. She's a great lass. She's a great Cher. And we will be on tonight, if you're tuned in Cyprus, at 9:30 on the Strip in Pretoris. So what a good link to play my favourite Cher Cher track. But I'll watch the video while it's playing, because I'd love to be Cher's toy boy. Hey, I could be as well.
If I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that'll hurt you, and you'd stay. I don't know why I did the things I did. I don't know why I said the things I said. Pride's like a knife, it can cut deep inside. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes. I didn't really mean to hurt you. I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry, but baby, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that have hurt you. You'd stay. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Then you love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time, my world was shattered, I was torn apart. Like someone took a knife and drove it deep in my heart. You walked out that door, I swore that I didn't care, but I lost everything, darling, there and there. Too strong to tell you I was sorry, too proud to tell you I was wrong. I know that I was blind, and darling, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words that'll hurt you, turn back time, if I could turn back time, if I could turn back time, oh, baby, I didn't really mean to hurt you, I didn't want to see you go. I know I made you cry, but oh, if I could turn back time, if I could find a way, I'd take back those words I heard you. If I could reach the stars, I'd give them all to you. Then you love me like you used to do. If I could turn back time, if I could find a way.
You know what? I don't care that Cher's had more pricks in the seamstress's thumbnail. There's just something about her. She's just like, oh, well, I would marry her tomorrow, actually. There you go. I've got a crush on Cher, who's 136 or something, eh? She's not a spring chicken anymore, is she? But it doesn't matter. She's plastic, she's silicon, but there's just something about her. And her voice is just like insane. And I was talking to some producers who said that the problem was always getting Cher in the studio. When you got her in the studio, she nailed every song pretty much first time. World-class artist. World-class Cher. Keep going. Keep going as long as you can. Oh, hey. Oh, we've had a lot of subjects to talk about today, haven't we? Hey, there's loads to cover. I'm hoping we're going to totally switch avenues now. I really hope that Carl Froch doesn't diminish his legacy and fight that absolute arsehole Darren Tills, who's a failed UFC fighter, I do believe. Just a big mouth. No disrespect to all my friends who are from Liverpool, but Tills is a big mouth scouser, isn't he? Him and Paddy Pimblett, the pair of dicks. I just hope that Carl don't fight him. But I suppose if you dangle 4 or 5 million quid in front of a warrior, they're going to take it, aren't they? He's 48 and he's a lot older than Tills. And Tills a knockout in Misfits fights, whatever Misfits, I think that's a joke as well, isn't it? And he knocked some fella out, knocking out some fella who's had 4 or 5 street fights and knocking out the Cobra is 2 totally different things. Cobra, Nigel Benn, Joe Kawasaki, Chris Eubanks Sr., Steve Collins, Alan Minter, Dave Boy Green. These are all heroes in boxing for me. Nigel Benn being my all-time favourite fighter. And the Cobra's not far behind it. Just a warrior. Carl, if you're listening, don't do it. And if you want to come on here and have a chat with me, I'd be delighted to have you on the show. And Darren Tills, if you want to come here and spout off, you're more than welcome. But the problem is, even though we're freedom of speech radio, you can't say the F-bomb. And I don't think I've heard you put more than 2 words together without saying the F-bomb. Because you're a moron. And I've got MS and I'm 63. And give me 2 months and Ricky Hatton or Nigel Benn to train me, I'd fight you. I'd do it for charity, like, because that's the sort of thing I do. I'm at a stage of life now where I really don't care about possessions. I've got my Rolex, and I've got a couple of nice watches. But I'm not bothered about materialism anymore. And any money I get, I want to spend it on my kids while I can see them enjoying it. And I still got things I want to do, places I want to see, and I intend doing it for as long as my body allows me to. Talking of which, you know, back in the good old 80s and early 90s, there was so much amazing music around. And I think a lot of it's been lost. Here's Winger. She's only 17. Dreamcatcher Radio with Michael Dean, the Englishman in Sweden. Let's rock!
Yes, I sparks fly from the corner of my eye when
Winger, Kip Winger. He was actually in Alice Cooper's band, along with Carmine Apice's brother, and bit of a guitar player. And he went off from Alice Cooper and started Winger. Great band, seen him in concert. He had all the hair, the body, he had it all long before Youngblood. Just sort of throw that in about Youngblood again. Don't forget, next week we're going to interview Sarah Carter. I've just realised Sarah Carter, weren't that the woman in Terminator? I best be on my best behaviour. Might be able to get Arnold on. We're going to have an interview with her about everything that's happening now at, or what they're planning to do at RAF Scampton, the home of the bouncing bomb. I think it's shocking. And of course, Shabana Mahmood is going against all the promises that Labour made. I don't think Labour have ever told the truth. Worst government in my lifetime. But there you go. So we got that, and then a couple of tracks are going to drop from Steve the Entertainer, who is actually probably my favourite current artist. I often talk about it when I'm on stage, about my generation, the music we had: Rod, Elton, Queen, The Who, Stones, Pistols. I mean, I'm from a generation when the music was great. And I see young people in the audience, and I often say, first of all, do you know who Rod Stewart is? And quite often they go, no. So, well, and I list off these artists that we grew up listening to, and they're saying 20 years, you'll be on holiday listening to a tribute to One Direction. I think we got the right generation. You've been great. I know there's a lot of you around the world listening to me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the content this week's show. No doubt Labour, Farage, Green Party, Liberals, Moderaterna, SD, Susana, all these incompetent buffoons who run our countries, I'm sure they're going to give all of us plenty of laughs and plenty of things to talk about. I do fear where we're heading as a continent. I do fear that the destruction of Europe is incoming. I do fear civil war, civil unrest is going to start in the United Kingdom on the Freedom March, and it's going to spread like wildfire across the continent, because most people I talk to have had enough. We've totally and utterly had enough of the madness being forced down our throats on a daily basis by so-called elected politicians. In the European Union, nobody even votes for them. Ursula von Trapp, she'll be sat there, won't she, hand under the table, giving little Zelensky a stroke. Starmer, Macron. I mean, let's just, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at the situation in France. Their Prime Minister has been forced to resign. Their government is totally and utterly in collapse. What's going to happen in France? Really? I don't know if you've been in France recently, but what an absolute hole it is now. Paris, and I used to love France. And the government is imploding. They're going to call another election. And the person who should have won the last election but was stolen of it, Marine Le Pen, is she even allowed to stand now? Because to fix that, they fixed the Norwegian elections today, or yesterday. That's blatant, because all the people I talked to in Norway were voting for another party. And they were like 16 points clear before voting day. And then finished second or third. It's just another example of how democracy is dead. How nothing, no matter what we say or do, nobody listens to us. We are totally and utterly on the verge of the abyss. And I'm going to say hello to Zoe, my daughter, who's in England with her English family. End of this month, I say she's going to start broadcasting an evening show once a week. Zoe, the Pulse of Sweden, guested by her Albanian boyfriend, Alan. This radio station is so diverse. There is something literally for everybody. And Bradders, well done on starting it, and Steve, you're doing a grand job managing it. Well, that's about it from me for this week. I'll speak to you all next week. Follow me on social media, Englishman in Sweden on TikTok, Stuart Rudders on Instagram, and Michael Dean, quite simply, on Facebook. You can find me on Amazon, iTunes, if you fancy downloading my music. And I shall speak to you all next week. Have a brilliant, safe, enlightened week. Stop the bombing everywhere. Get around a table. Have a loving. Let's end all these wars. Thanks for listening. I'm going to finish off with one of my all-time favourite bands and singers, Roger Daltrey and The Who. And Love, Rain on Me. Thanks for tuning in to Dreamcatcher Radio with me, the Englishman in Sweden. See you all next week. Ta-da!
Only love can make it rain, the way the beach is kissed by the sea. Only love can make it rain, like the sweat of lovers laying in the fields. That makes you yearn to the sky. Only love